dozens of eyewitnesses who swear that they've seen these living pterosaur creatures flying around in modern times.
But what was that thing we see in the air?
It's nothing I've ever seen before, on land or in sea.
A hairy creature who haunts the woods, the stuff of legend, right? Wrong, the Sasquatch has been found dead.
Of all that's known to reside within the rivers and lakes, there are some of the most unimaginably bizarre creatures that we can never know to have existed.
This thing, he's got legs.
Here are some of the camera captures that shocked the world. For centuries, the myth of a giant snake-like creature dwelling in Okanogan Lake persisted. Its existence was often doubted, dismissed as nothing more than ancient folklore. However, in January 2019, footage of the creature surfaced, quickly going viral. Many initially mistook it for a giant oarfish, given its resemblance. But oarfish typically inhabit oceans, not freshwater lakes. This enigmatic creature, known by various names worldwide, such as the Chinese Dragon King, is steeped in prehistoric lore. Despite its long history, there have been no reports of the Agogo attacking or consuming humans. Nonetheless, its presence serves as a reminder of the potential dangers lurking beneath the surface. Velociraptor Underwater. Despite the incredulity of labeling it as such, the only plausible designation for the creature captured in a controversial video circulating on Instagram is that of a dinosaur. In the footage, a colossal reptile resembling a velociraptor is spotted lurking in a river, concealed beneath the shallow waters near a blind spot under a rocky plateau. Its intense focus suggests it may be patiently awaiting an opportunity to prey on unsuspecting individuals leaping into the water. However, to keep curious visitors away, sources decided not to disclose the whereabouts of the area. River serpent. The crowd is one element that proves the large and spooky vibe that's coming from this dipped serpent. In March 2014, a large crowd gathered next to the Tai River in the remote area, after word quickly went around regarding the appearance of a dragon or a sea serpent. Though usually anyone would be scared of being in such a situation, the crowd here were rather curious how this creature looked after hearing folklore tales for decades. Aside from these partial bulgy appearances, it disappeared a couple hours later without revealing much about itself. River dinosaur. Ever since the rumors of dinosaur extinction, there have been several other sightings which have proved otherwise. A TikTok user filmed this sight in Ranco Lake, Chile, and published on his profile in February 2023, showing large, untamed reptile that had a shallow presence over the surface of the river. Since the area doesn't have any crocodiles or alligators living within, it only begs the question as to the nature of this reptile. However, the source, who is the only witness to this scene, believes that this animal looks like a dinosaur. Marine mammal mystery. From sharks, orcas, to dolphins and whales, the actual nature of this marine mammal remains a mystery. A clip recording from May 1st, 2016 shows the moment where a fisherman in Chinese River almost thought that he had made a large catch, only to discover this. The mammal that he caught looked nothing like the marine animals that he or most of the viewers had seen before, and shared the clip around to get some answers. However, some speculation shared that this could be a beaked whale, with both having similar resemblance, but doesn't exactly look to be the case. Unrecognizable hunted creature. In March 2022, an unsettling video surfaced from an undisclosed location in Latin America, depicting a massive, unrecognizable carcass. Its head was missing, and its body bore a shape unlike any known living organism. Initially mistaken for a tree trunk, the presence of daggers and knives in the hands of locals confirmed it to be an animal carcass, measuring between 2 to 2.5 meters in length. Speculation ran wild as to its identity. It could have been anything from an anteater to a creature as elusive as Bigfoot. Floating water ghost. Imagine the nature of a weird type of creature that cuts through any and all your traps, yet still sticks around to haunt you. A group of friends in Indonesia were enjoying a bath in a stream in the countryside. They came across this unknown entity that was passing through. Initially, they got out of the water until they decided to use their fishing gear to capture and have a good look at it. In doing so, this terrifying entity managed to cut itself free every time. However, after spending hours, they finally managed to capture it, but only took a picture of it before handing it over to local experts to identify its nature. Unknown furry carcass. At one point, it looks like a werewolf, while a Montauk monster on the other. A really old recording from 1959, taken at the Plum Island beach, shows the carcass of some humanoid animalistic creature that looks to have its head like a canine, but a body similar to that of a human being. From the texture, it almost looks as if this monsterly creature had dark fur and or suffered from third-degree burns. Visibly, most of its limbs were also missing that may have either turned into ashes or that were somehow cut off. Till date, the unknown nature of this furry carcass and how it got here remains unsolved. Lake Van Monster. While most cases of underwater monsters usually get overlooked, this one was not. In July 2015, after reports surfaced of an unearthly being sighted underwater in Turkey's Lake Van, a local monster hunter took up the challenge of investigating. Initially reported 2 years prior, the alleged sightings gained momentum when amateur photos captured a long, dark figure moving at a distance within the lake. Despite subsequent efforts by professional camera crews to capture the creature on film, their attempts proved futile. Undeterred, the determined hunter claimed success after setting up a stakeout by the lake. Professor Avni Ozatark of Van University speculated that the creature could be a deep-dwelling sea reptile, surfacing periodically from the lake's depths. Rising elemental beings. Aside from that, the only other possible explanation left here would have been spirits or souls of the dead. A fisherman was wrapping up his equipment after days' work in a river in the Philippines when he noticed a white smoke ring appearing from under the water and formed into the shape of a figure. Within seconds, the silhouette of another similar figure emerged from behind it. Netizens around the world identified it to be elemental beings. Elemental beings are mythological creatures representing the forces of nature: earth, air, fire, and water. They vary across cultures, from gnomes and sylphs to salamanders and undines. Often depicted as guardians or embodiments of natural elements, they symbolize the interconnectedness between humans and their environment. HumanFaced Fish. When you consider the fact that most marine life species are still not discovered, random appearances like these can be shocking. A fish that was seen on a beach in Okinawa, Japan, where one of them had a face that looked like a human skeleton, though the rest of its body was that of a fish. In another instance, a fish was found having a face similar to that of Thomas the Train, not to mention the creepy eyes and dark brown shade. It is not known if these fishes actually belong to species or are genetically mutated. Alien sloth. Calling it an alien sloth is the very term that largely fits the physical description of this expired entity. Panama City residents were intrigued to discover a possible alien creature that was found lying by the rocks on a riverbed. The closest physical description that it had was of a sloth, though it had lengthy limbs with its body having exactly no fur. For this, it was nicknamed to be an alien sloth, where largely everyone believes to have been an actual sloth by its face and claws, that it severely mutated before losing its life. Yangtze serpentine. Among all other things, for a serpent this huge and intimidating, it didn't mind coexistence without bothering anyone. In September 2019, passengers and workers from a public ferry boat witnessed the appearance of a large reptilian animal of unknown nature slithering below the murky surface of the Yangtze River in Yiqing City in central China's Hubei province. It didn't mind the presence of the large boat, though its incredible size and mystery left everyone on board terrified and curious at the same time. Rumors believe it to be either a massive alligator or an anaconda. Lagoon fish anomaly.
We looked into the water and saw a mysterious serpent-like creature.
Perhaps the appearance of this entity is a wake-up call to the level of poor sanitation conditions. In the lagoons of New Orleans City Park, a strange creature was seen swimming and floating within the water. Whether it's just the flotilla remains of some fishes or genetically modified creatures, it left most of the visitors baffled and confused as to what sort of fish it could be.
It's nothing I've ever seen before, on land or in sea.
A seasoned fisherman that was around identified this to be a possible case of dying fish swimming upside down, with the polluted water directly being responsible for such a development. Underwater beast mystery. With only a small part of this river being affected, this causing of events was clearly due to the presence of an underwater beast. A recreational fisherman who, after being interrupted by the sudden development of seismic activity, decided to immediately get out of the water while still staying nearby, hoping to get answers. The disturbance of water created dark pigment waves, while no marine animals or any sort of creature was visible. Initially, he thought that this was a large pool of fish that some predator was busy feasting on, but nothing was known for sure. Whatever it was definitely was giving out a scary vibe. Stranded marine animal. The first and foremost thought would come to your mind is that this is a fish, but distinct body features paint another picture. A drone flying by the Geelong River in Singapore spotted this unknown marine animal swimming through the river, where the water level was quite low. It had fins, tail, and a large mouth with whiskers. Judging from the tail, which was slim and elongated, some of the onlookers took it to be an eelfish. However, it is also believed that this could be shark rays that suffered a severe case of mutation due to the Fukushima disaster from years earlier. Slithering water centipede. In Chakosango, Thailand, on March 24, 2021, this very strange-looking river inhabitant with numerous legs was discovered. Video footage depicts the peculiar creature navigating the sandy waters after being set free. The individual who stumbled upon it decided to capture the centipede-like being in the Bang Pakong River on January 13th. Initially floating on the water's surface, its unusual appearance piqued the discoverer's curiosity, as he had never encountered anything similar before. Subsequently, a local marine biologist identified the freshwater creature as a bristleworm, commonly sighted during cooler seasons in Thailand. Zombie salmons. Unlike all the zombie creatures that you may have seen on screen, these zombie salmons have the closest resemblance. A recording captured from beneath the Goldstream River in November 2017 depicts a large group of salmon covered in fungus, presenting a rather grim sight. This occurs after the salmon undertake the challenge of navigating upstream to reach their spawning grounds. They battle against water currents using their bodies and tails to dig into gravel, sustaining bruises until they exhaust all their energy. leading to bodily shutdown. Consequently, their carcasses begin to rot while still alive until they eventually pass out. Disfigured reptiles. Though alligator hunting is a thing, this has gone too far. In April 2018, a resident in Loxtchee Groves, Florida, discovered 3 to 4 large alligator carcasses that were disfigured to such an extent that most of them were headless, while numerous other limbs and body parts were cut off and disposed of in metal and plastic containers. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission launched an investigation after an outcry from animal enthusiasts. Spoiled monitor lizard. Aside from all the risk that one may pose in feeding wild animals, having their behavior spoiled is one of them. A young Japanese woman was busy feeding a turtle next to a bridge until a really aggressive monitor lizard interrupted the peaceful setting. It spooked away the turtle in hopes of taking their place and being the only one that's fed. After pulling a stunt that left everyone upset, it had the audacity to be around expecting to be fed. Huge prehistoric tooth. Most prehistoric species have gone completely extinct, but their fossils have remained perfectly preserved. In January 2022, a fossil and treasure hunter was scouting a remote river of an undisclosed location in southeastern United States, where he found a huge megalodon tooth. Marine experts, upon examining it, shared this tooth is approximately 6 million years old and came from a time when this river was open ocean. Depending upon the quality of the teeth, it could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Terrifying blob organism.
Yes, look at the size of it! It's definitely gross.
In September 2017, a startling video emerged of a repulsive organism being pulled from the Lost Lagoon, a lake in Stanley Park, Vancouver, Canada. Resembling a brain, the blob creature had a disturbing brown color and a squishy yet firm texture like jelly. Selena Starnes from the Stanley Park Ecology Society was the one who discovered and captured the creature jiggling and pulsating as it was removed from the water.
Bryozoan that we discovered here at Lost Lagoon in Stanley Park is actually an animal.
Identified as a bryozoan, it comprises microscopic zooids capable of asexual reproduction. While typically found south of the Mississippi River, this marked the first northern sighting. It is believed that their presence might be linked to climate change, since these creatures adapt to new habitats with environmental shifts. Alien baby carcass. After years of UFO sightings, it seemed inevitable that something like this would eventually happen. In October 2012, a cleaner working along the shores of a remote beach in North Australia stumbled upon a peculiar sight. The carcass of what appeared to be an alien-like baby creature, still displaying faint signs of life. Before the footage could gain widespread attention, marine researchers swiftly cordoned off the area and established a makeshift forensic lab nearby to analyze the mysterious discovery. Despite more than a decade passing since the incident, the origin of the creature remains a baffling enigma, with no definitive answers in sight. Shallow water slug. While this clearly looks like a marine animal, the name of the species is unclear. The sighting of this shallow water slug in Pawleys Island, South Carolina, was shared by a news reporter with the Marine Resources Research Institute for recognition, who, after not having any answers, was shared with the public. After much attention from thousands of viewers who named it to be an Atlantic black sea hare. These bulky sea slugs usually are dark chocolate brown to blackish in color and can grow to a length of 30 centimeters or 12 inches or more. Typically, it is found in shallow water, down to depths of about 40 meters in areas with rocky surfaces among the algae that it feeds on. Dipped slithering giant. Either this anaconda was choking on a prey or was just trapped in a snare underwater. A Puerto Rico fisherman found this huge yellow anaconda that he, along with his crewmen, decided to come to its rescue. They brought the slithering giant ashore, where with the help of the other locals, they were able to take it into deep forest to release it in the wild. Astonishingly, the anaconda didn't seem to be in any distress, but merely just unconscious. Riverwater. With the absence of visible popping air bubbles or steam emanating out, this disturbance in water can only be blamed on a life form. In the middle of an undisclosed river in Mexico, the bizarre disturbance that appeared in the water caught his attention. The water was continuously being pushed out and away from the center, almost as if some energy force field was in the motion. The spectator believes that there may have been some submerged underwater vehicle or craft that may be directly responsible for such an influence. Fallen sphere mystery. Regardless if it's an asteroid or a sphere fallen from another dimension, its very alien nature is what makes it quite concerning. Villagers from an undisclosed area in India discovered this heavy, large sphere that dropped down into their crop fields as a result of a loud bang. Within minutes, it gathered a large crowd of curious locals that were looking for the source of noise. From this being the egg of an alien or a dragon to being some tiny-sized asteroid, numerous theories were in order, but none of them proved to be the case. Decaying Blob.
Ini adalah paus jenis bungkuk dengan panjang.
Beaching of the sharks, dolphins, and whales is so common and easily identifiable that puts a giant question mark on what this is. In May 2017, a giant carcass of a decaying monster was found laying by a busy beach in Indonesia. The decaying had gone to an extent that it couldn't be identified. Apart from the foul smell, even the bones could be seen coming out from all over the carcass. Marine biologists took samples and buried the blob, awaiting complete decay, to be able to study the nature of what this creature may have been, starting from its bone structure composition. Determined bear chase. Living amongst nature brings its shares of challenges, with the sudden appearance of a bear charging towards you. In a remote wilderness area of Kamchatka, Russia, a group of construction workers experienced this firsthand. The bear seemed to materialize out of thin air, intent on pursuing them. Reports reveal that this same bear had recently chased a boat full of curious tourists. Unlike typical carnivores, this bear's determination was remarkable. Its powerful strides propelled it relentlessly towards the boat, despite the passengers' attempts to flee at high speed. While the boat managed to outpace the bear, the encounter left everyone shaken, highlighting the raw, untamed essence of their surroundings. Prehistoric marine animal. In August 2015, a fisherman casting his line in the Ohio River made an astonishing catch of a prehistoric-looking marine creature. However, the creature mysteriously vanished within seconds, leaving the fisherman perplexed. Several days later, the same creature was discovered, ensnared in a fence near the riverbank by a running ground. Upon examination by a marine biologist, it was confirmed to be a long-nosed gar. These fascinating creatures, often described as living fossils, belong to an ancient lineage that has remained virtually unchanged for about 100 million years. This encounter serves as a captivating glimpse into the enduring mysteries of the natural world and the remarkable creatures that inhabit it. Fluorescent fish. Fish like this probably would have a glowy effect embodied within its skin. A group of boasters were heading out for a cruise in a Gaston County river, North Carolina, where this very strange being caught their attention. From its structure to intense coloration, created a sight never seen before, leaving the bystanders wondering if it was the result of some mutation? Or perhaps a new species? Some thought it to be a rainbow trout that turns to this color due to genetic variant, but that factor is also quite rare. Choking on shark. In the wild, size can dictate survival in unexpected ways. While mud fishing in India, a fisherman made a remarkable discovery: a dead fish attempting to devour a shark. However, the fish became lodged halfway through its meal, likely succumbing to its predicament as the mud began to dry up. The shark's carcass became firmly wedged in the fish's mouth, resisting all efforts to dislodge it with water and sheer strength. Ultimately, the only recourse was to carefully dissect the fish to free it from the entangled shark. Three-headed frog. On the silver lining, this gives the frog a better situational awareness, with a panoramic view far better than its counterparts. Discovered hopping amidst the foliage of the Green Umbrella Nursery in the United Kingdom, this extraordinary amphibian boasted not one, but 3 heads and 6 legs, yet seemingly only possessed a single soul. Experts attributed this anomaly to a genetic defect, speculating that environmental factors such as parasites or pollution may have disrupted the parent frog's hormonal balance during the fetus's development. While animals usually suffering from mutation don't survive, this frog is somehow still kicking. Obnoxious-looking floater.
Alright, so upon first inspection, I see it looks like a turtle shell or something.
From the looks of this animal, it looks like a mix of a giant lizard at one angle and rodent on the other. A father and son were taking a stroll down to their local water hole, only to find this weird-looking creature floating on the water's surface, being completely stationary. It either had a large shell or an inflated lump behind its upper back that made it even harder to understand, all the while making it look quite spooky at the same time. They shared this footage, hoping to find answers from comments of the viewers.
It's just staying like that. It's like a giraffe raft turtle or something.
Uncanny lake discovery. A fisherman in New Orleans made headlines after reeling in a nearly 6-foot bull shark from Lake Pontchartrain. This remarkable catch shows the unexpected presence of predators lurking in the lake's waters. Bull sharks, known for their aggressiveness and unpredictability, are not uncommon in Lake Pontchartrain. But the size of this particular specimen was surprising. Biologists note that among shark species, bull sharks, tiger sharks, and great whites are the most likely to bite humans. The fisherman hopes to raise awareness about the presence of these formidable predators in the lake, urging caution to those who venture into its depths. Surfacing marine mystery.
What in the world is this thing? He's got legs.
In October 2016, 2 friends strolling along a Florida beach stumbled upon a perplexing sight. The body of a mysterious fish or whale-like creature washed ashore. Unlike any known aquatic animal, this enigmatic specimen bore little resemblance to familiar marine life. Adding to the intrigue, its diminutive size suggested that it might be an offspring of a larger, yet-to-be-identified species. If you have any details or information, do share them in the comments and let us know. Snake legs.
Oh, it's tiny.
In a hypothetical snake racing contest, this one contender would undoubtedly stand out as the frontrunner. A villager from Vietnam, Laos stumbled upon a remarkable sight: a snake boasting 4 limbs on its body. Initially mistaken for a type of lizard, or perhaps believed to have remnants of its last prey lodged within, the snake's unusual appendages sparked widespread intrigue. As word spread throughout the village, many interpreted the discovery as a spiritual message of sorts. Never before had a snake species with fully developed legs been known to exist. While some snake species possess vestigial hind leg bones nestled within their muscles near the tail, this instance defied all expectations. Lizard snake. In May 2021, a puzzling video emerged on the internet showcasing this strange reptile that defied easy classification. Bearing a striking resemblance to both snakes and lizards, this creature's appearance left viewers baffled. Its body predominantly resembled that of a snake, yet it sported 2 tiny legs, adding to the mystery. The longer you gaze at it, the more confounding it becomes. If it were a lizard, the absence of 2 additional legs raised questions, while its snake-like body posed a quandary regarding the presence of hind legs. This perplexing specimen challenged conventional understandings of reptilian anatomy, raising the speculation and curiosity about its origins and evolutionary history. Ancient sword surfacing. Aside from all the mysterious creatures, the water has a ton of ancient history artifacts hidden underneath it. A fully intact medieval sword was found in a Siberian lake that was covered in rust and also twisted on the end. The sword is believed to be from the 12th century, which the blacksmiths believe can be restored. In another incident, a 900-year-old sword was found in Israel. This 4-foot-long weapon was encrusted in marine organisms, but other was pronounced to be in perfect condition. Surfacing Croco giant. For a second there, this reptile almost looked like the surfacing Godzilla. A boatload of tourists that were taking a trip on the island of Port Blair off the coast of India, where they spotted this massive saltwater crocodile. If it looks scary enough being stationary just by its size, one can only imagine the horrors if it decided to pursue the boaters with a sinister intent. The island is usually off limits for tourists, as the area, according to the guide, is well known for its giant crocodile population. Sand decoys or eggs? Clearly, this crab was busy working hard, as if it wanted to meet a deadline. A beachgoer in South Africa noticed a tiny crab that was working hard to make wet beach sandballs and piling them behind it with its burrowing hole nearby. While these clearly look to be sandballs being prepared possibly for shelter, some of the bystanders believe for the crab to be laying eggs within the sandballs for protection. Open discussion. This picture and video was taken on August 23, 2022, showing a real-life dragon that was caught on camera in Vietnam. The boater, who immediately, after having to notice the giant dragon breaching out from the water, hid in his boat while was recording at the same time. With dragons being worshipped in old Vietnamese culture for their power and benevolence, this is also a one-of-a-kind speechless moment. These prehistoric beasts symbolized prosperity and were integrated into art, literature, and religious rituals. Legend holds that the Vietnamese people are descendants of a dragon and a fairy, solidifying the dragon's significance in Vietnamese identity and heritage. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.